Okay, so in this video, we will be looking at the ECS demo. So we will start from scratch, and now I'm on my ECS console. So you can see we have an option of creating the cluster. We have option of creating a task definition. So what you need to do, first of all, you need to click on create clusters in order to create an ECS cluster. So as I said, you can create an ECS cluster with the networking only. So if you are using the Fargate, so you can choose this option. But if you want to have the EC2 instances in your cluster, then you need to choose this one. And if you want to deploy a Windows cluster, then you can choose this in EC2 Windows plus networking. So I'm going to click on EC2 Linux plus networking, and I'm going to click on next step. I'm going to define my cluster name as ECS, let's say test cluster. And the type of EC2 instances I want to use are on-demand instances. Okay, the instance type, let's choose the T3 large by default, and then the number of instances I want inside my cluster is 2. So let's choose T3.x large. AMI is going to be the ECS optimized AMI, so I'm not going to change this. The size, the EBS volume I want to attach to my EC2 instances is 30 GB. I'm going to choose the key pair which is already present, that is Ubuntu test. I'm going to choose the existing VPC which I have created in the VPC section, right? So I'm going to choose the public subnets only so that my EC2 instances gets a public IP and I'm able to SSH inside those ECS instance. After that, public IP enable, launch wizard 3. And yes, so what is this? This is a container instance IAM role. So basically, if you want your EC2 instances in terms of ECS, we call them as ECS instances. So if you want your ECS instances to join your ECS cluster, so you need to define a container instance IAM role. So basically, I'm gonna say create a new role. So this role is going to have all the sufficient permissions so that ECS agent can connect to your ECS API on your behalf, and container instance can join your underlying ECS cluster. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll down. If you want, you can enable the CloudWatch container insights as well. Okay, so now I'm gonna click on create. It's gonna create an ECS cluster. So it will take some time. And then it will going to register 2 instances here. So what you can do is you can go to your CloudFormation page. Basically, behind the hood, it is just spinning up a CloudFormation stack. So I'm gonna go to my CloudFormation. Let's go. So you see, it has spinned up a CloudFormation stack, and where you can see what resources it is spinning up. It is creating an auto scaling group. It is creating a launch configuration. So these are required if you want your instances to join the ECS cluster. So the cluster is created now. You see the test cluster is created. If I click on ECS instances, so right now it has spinned up 2 instances as what I have defined. So now these 2 container instances will be used to run my ECS tasks. Okay. But as I said, if you want to run the ECS task, then you need to have a task definition. So that's what we're gonna do in our next demo part. So we're gonna create a task definition and then we're gonna deploy the tasks on ECS instances. Okay, and let me also show you the auto scaling group that's got created with this ECS cluster. Let's go to EC2. So click on auto scaling groups. So this is the auto scaling group, EC2 container service test cluster. So this auto scaling group got spinned up as a part of my ECS. Okay. So that's it for this lecture. In the next part, we're gonna create a task definition and we're gonna deploy some tasks on our ECS. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.